Now a lot of fellas where the mistake is made is that this is the right way it should go on, with the drain facing the ground and the photocell lining up. But as you can see, if we turn it around, it'll actually sit back in again with your drain up here, and now your photocell is blocked, which means your burner now will cut out and go in to lockout. Very, very simple mistake. Now we've replaced the nozzle, flash tube, all tightened up, and now we're prepared to put the door back, the blast door back onto the boiler. Now, as you can see, let's door back on, and there's 4 brass nuts and washers to go back on. Okay, that's one. That's 2. 3. And that's 4. Now, ready to tighten up the bolts. Now, nuts tightened up. Start there, down there, up here, and back down here. Opposite corners, okay, so you don't buckle the plate. Okay, so we're ready to put the burner back into the boiler. So now, burner is back into boiler, and you just need to tighten up this nut. Okay, now air intake pipe, which is here, needs to go back on to the burner. Okay, now obviously the screw at the side needs to be tightened. Now, as you can see, air intake pipe put back on. As you can see, remote sensor is over the burner, which passes down and is there before it goes down into the ground. Now, as you can see, we have a tiger loop connected here, which the 2 pipes coming back, going into the burner, and this is an outdoor burner but with a vent on the top of it, which means it can send the vapour air out to the outside. One second, now we'll have a look at that. As you can see here, this is the pipe which comes out from the vent. An elbow on it, which means the rain won't run back down into it, but it can breathe out into the atmosphere. Now, we'll have a look at the flue. Now, as you can see, the flue is here, your air intake is here, and what they've done here is put a plumb kit on, which comes up from the wall, up and out like so. Okay, now this is the garage. Okay, so again the plume is up. This plume should be up another bit, to be honest. It's very, very close to the eaves. Okay, but in general, not a bad job. Okay, they had the exhaust coming out just here. What was happening is the exhaust was coming around here, being sucked back in here through the air intake. So in conclusion, they said, right, we'll bring the plume of the exhaust up and out. Next thing, obviously working on a boiler, you always extract the fuse. Okay, so at least that way you know the power is dead, but you need to check it with a voltage indicator. Now, what next we're going to do here now is we're going to turn on the boiler, but we're going to check the oil pressure, okay, on this. Now, as you can see, boiler running, she's at 10 bar. Now, if I wanted to adjust this, maybe this screw, that you can turn left or right, and if we turn left or right, you can see this going up, down. Okay, it should be set at 9 bar. Manufacturing state 9 bar. This is a C26 9 bar. Alright, putting blanking screw back in. And screw back, going back in. Okay, turn boiler on again. And away she fires. Now we should be waiting for 10 minutes where we will do a smoke test through here, and we'll see the results of that in a few minutes. Now, as you can see, boiler's been on for 10 minutes. She's pluming well, so we should go now and do a smoke pump. So now boiler's running. We shall put in smoke pump into here to do our test. And as you can see, very minute bit of soot on it. So again, if you have very dark soot, you adjust your air, you put a little bit more air in, but the pump, oil pump, has to be set at the manufacturing what they state, either 7 to 10 bar for kerosene or 10 to 14 for green diesel or gas oil. Now we are ready to do our analyzer. As you can see, is a CO0, CO20, and she's a Kin 455. Right, now, boiler's been running for 10 minutes, so we shall insert the analyzer. And watch the results. .3, 11.4 CO2, and CO is 34. Again, CO as low as possible, but try not to leave it over 90. Now if I go if I go flicking up here, oxygen is 5.5, flue gas temperature is 54, ambient temperature is 18.9, efficiency 98.4, which is not bad. Now I set my auxiliary up for excess air, NOx, pressure and CO2 again. This one here goes to battery, date, SI time, date and calibration, which is actually very handy. I have 156 days for calibration. So we've got back up to ratio. 7.5, yeah, that's what I was looking for. Now again, going back to the manufacturer depending on what they want. So what we need to get next is a printer. Okay, printer, and again, so far away. Keep them close together if you want. And you press send. Now, so this is our printout, and as you can see here, our O2 5.4, CO2 11.5, CO 28, flue gas temperature 59, ambient temperature 19.3, so the boiler only actually produced 40 degrees. Her efficiency C, which is condensing, 98.2. Her losses are obviously 1.8. Her excess air is 34. Mid 20s to mid 30s, what you're looking for. Ratio between the CO and CO2 is 0.0002. Should also have 3 zeros there. Millibar, which would be pressure, would be 0.01, which is fine. Okay, so that's how you literally look at your printout. So right, at this point we put our plug back into the boiler. That is the old nozzle. Put it back into the thing. I always leave it there just in case I'm not going back, and it's handy for the next serviceman, he knows what's in there. So what we're left to do is put the cover back on the burner. Next, so tighten up the screws. So right, at this point we put our plug back into the boiler. That is the old nozzle. Put it back into the thing. I always leave it there just in case I'm not going back, and it's handy for the next serviceman, he knows what's in there. So what we're left to do is put the cover back on the burner. Next, tighten up the screws. Take a typical Firebird popular boiler, burner taken out, baffles taken out, cleaned out, all your ash. Putting baffles back in. That baffle I just put in was the first baffle that was on top. I normally rotate them. Every year I come back to do the service. So we continue, keep putting in the baffles. Now, all baffles put in, and the smaller baffles down here were taken out already and cleaned. Okay. Right, burner out in the ground. Always when servicing, change the nozzle every time you come. So we'll just go down and change the nozzle. This is a Rayola RDB 2.2. One screw loose, and flip the burner over and get the screw. This should come off. There you go. Now, as you can see, the nozzle is in good condition, but we're going to change it anyway. The boiler is in more or less a year, so we're going to change the nozzle. Now, as you can see, the nozzle is out, and I have the nozzle in my hand. I don't know if you can see it, but 0.65 80S. Okay. And the replacement nozzle would be a 0.65 80S. Now, as you can see, new nozzle going in. Being very, very careful not to touch the front face of the nozzle. Now, nozzle is tightened up, and now we go to the blast tube. Okay. There's two ways to put this blast tube on, this particular type. As you can see, there's a hole right there, and there's a drain right there. That drain normally faces down towards the ground, and that hole will line up with the photocell.